Hi, this is Kana, the One Man Riot Hyatt, and you're listening to We Are Rizin podcast.
Hey everybody, you are listening to the We Are Rizin podcast. This is your host Andrew Benjamin, and I'm joined by a very special guest today. With us, we have Kana, the One Man Riot Hyatt, who will be fighting Mamoru, Fullswing, Yui at Rizin 16 in Kobe, June 2nd. This will be Hyatt's debut in Rizin, Kana, I appreciate you doing this interview, taking your time out to talk with us.
Not a problem, thank you.
So can we just get a little bit of a background on you? Just tell us how you got into MMA.
Right, just growing up in Hawaii, fighting is just automatic. So when I found out you get paid fighting, I jumped right on board, and the rest is history.
It's so funny because Hawaii has an amazing history with fighters. There's Eddie Yagan, BJ Penn, now the UFC featherweight champion Max Holloway. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of others that are also in that camp as well. But is fighting just a part of the culture in Hawaii?
Yeah, it's just in the blood. We're warriors. It's just growing up was pretty crazy because I used to live in California, 8 years old. I lived in California until I was about 13. And when I moved back to Hawaii, the first week I was there, in fact, the first day I went to school to sign up, there was 2 scraps right in front of the office. And this is the first time I seen guys throwing blows, man. I was like, whoa, what the heck? And the first week I was there, because I was kind of like a class clown, and I guess somebody got mad, and after the class, he's like, oh, you have to fight my brother now. And I was like, whoa, what? Well, I was all scared, so I run to my cousin, and the whole school knew already, because it's a small school, Pahoa High School. And he's like, no matter what, just go up there and fight, get your respect, and that's what happened. And
it sounds like jail. It sounds like jail, where you almost have to mark your territory almost in a way, where if you by fighting you're establishing almost your dominance in a way.
Yeah, well, it's more or less a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
I walked away from one fight in my life, which I kind of regret. It was over a girl, and I just didn't want to fight over it. It's like, what, I'm done. And I regret it to this day, but I was trying to be the better man. But in Hawaii, man, somebody steps up, I say just scrap them. Win or lose, get the respect.
Gotcha. So you were originally born in California, but then you moved to Hawaii, you said, correct?
No, I was born in Hawaii, and then my dad, he was in a rock and roll band growing up, so he took us to Oregon, and then California, and then we moved back. I wasn't the greatest kid, growing up in California. I was kind of on my own trip, and then I was running with the wrong crowd. So I'm kind of happy that we moved back to Hawaii, because it was during the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all the gang stuff going on, especially where I was growing up, in Wilmington. They used to call that Weemos. That place was kind of crazy. It still is crazy.
So it's actually funny. I was wondering if by perchance if your genealogy it connects to the Hyatt Hotel when I first saw your last name.
Yeah, I wish. I tried to pull that card a couple of times. Just walk in there with my ID and say, "Hey, got my suite ready?"
No, did it ever work?
They just laughed. No, it never did. I wish it did though.
So yeah, you train out of the Team Bodyshop in California. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's a very that's a very well known camp. I know. I'm trying to. I think isn't AJ McKee there or his brother?
Yes. Yep. AJ McKee. That's Coach Antonio's son.
And yeah, so like, how did you get connected with Team Body Shop?
Well, my career brought me to California. I fought all over Hawaii. I won most of the belts. I won the X1 title, won the Destiny title, HFC title, and in Hawaii, if you just stay there, that's the problem. You end up fighting the same guys over and over. So my brother hits me up and says, "Hey, you want to move to California?" Shoes. I moved to California, and the first day I was there, he had a friend. He had his own gym in his garage. It was the Carson garage. And I just went over there, did some training, and then I was looking for a bigger gym, more guys. And I heard these guys are like, "Oh man, don't go to the body shop because they train hard and they spar hard." And I was like, "What? Shit, man!" I was there the next day. You know what I mean? Like, man, if you want to be in this, you gotta go hard, right? So that was my thinking when I was younger. And this was like around 2010. I just walk in there, and I can tell you this, Coach Antonio, he didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. He thought I was crazy. I just show up to train, and we spar, and I walk on the middle of the mat, like, who wants some? You know what I mean? He's like, who is this guy? I'm walking around like a $130, trying to scrap with everybody.
So you basically went in there with a purpose, and you're there to show that this is not some phase. You're here to stay. You're here to stay and make something of yourself.
Yeah, I just go in there and learn as much as possible because I knew, because a lot of the guys in there were wrestlers, and that's what they bring. And being with Coach Antonio, he taught me how to beat wrestlers. I was with him for 5 years before I went on to my own journey to Southeast Asia and living in Thailand and training at Team Quest Thailand. But I learned a lot. Never stopped doing what he taught. And his skills. I'm glad to be back for this fight. I got this Rizin fight, and I just hit him up. I just got back from Southeast Asia maybe 6 months ago, and I just said, "Hey, I got this big fight coming up. Can you train me?" He said, "Yeah, just get over here." So boom, jumped on a plane, left my wife and my son in Hawaii, and I'm just in California right now, just preparing myself for this war.
Now you fought all over. You fought in, as you said, Hawaii. You fought in China. This actually won't be your first fight in Japan. You've actually fought in Japan before.
Yeah.
Like, what is it like just fighting just like in so many different places? Is it any like? Do you train any differently when you have a fight that's in one country as opposed to another?
Well, when I was fighting a lot in China, I was living in Thailand, and I hooked up with OGFSA management and with Eddie. He is my agent for China. So with that crew, with every fight that I have in China is through them. I stay loyal to them, and I was fighting for the WLF, Wu Ling Feng, and they just put my profile through, and if there's so many fights in China, if they like you, if they select you, boom, they hit me up. Kana, you want to fight? Boom. It's a yes or no, and I'm there. But it's maybe a 3-hour, 5-hour flight from Thailand, so it's not as bad. When I first fought in Japan, I was living out in California, and it was like a 14-hour ride. Ooh, man, that was a trip. That was like the first. I was in the VTJ flyweight tournament, and it was the first round, my first time. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Dealing with that, overcoming. Flying that long, getting in there, getting a workout in, then you got to cut weight, and trying to rest, and then the night of the fight, because they maybe bring you in 3-4 days before the fight. So, there's no acclimating to the time. So, yeah, it's challenging in a way. Like in China, they only cheer for the Chinese people. My last few fights in China, though, they were cheering for me because I just put on wars. But usually they don't cheer for anyone else. It's all just the Chinese. Even if they're getting beat up, they're getting knocked out, they're getting taken down, when they get back up, everyone's cheering. They land a punch, they got their whole country behind them, more or less. So
Now,
It is difficult when it's just you're the only American in China at the time.
regarding fans, and one of the things I've noticed specifically with fighters from Hawaii, and this is very evident with someone like Ray Cooper III, whenever he fights in PFL, is that it seems like Hawaiian fans follow their favorite fighters no matter where they go. Is that the case with you? Do you have people who follow like if you're in China, you'll have fans and family and friends who will go to China to watch you fight? Do you have that as well?
Well, it's hard to go to China because you need special paperwork and you need a special visa. You know, they don't just let anybody into China.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have my fans and my family. They get to watch online. You know, my agent Eddie, he usually puts it on Facebook. You know, he has, even though it's illegal in China, you know, they have those VPNs or whatever. He streams some of my stuff. You know, I fought in Hong Kong on I-1, Extreme Muay Thai. That was a pretty crazy event too. And just, you know, you can see that live. There's live streams sometimes, and if not, I just got the video for the fight. I just post it after.
Because I watched your fight with Juan Rivas, and the crowd was going crazy for you. I thought maybe like the entire crowd was just there to see you. So
yeah, that one was a war, man. Shout out to Juan Rivas, man. That was we brought it that night. You know, that was the first time that I pushed myself to that extreme. Man, I could tell you after the first round, I had him knocked out. I pushed him out of the ring. When he came back, we were fighting some more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was done. The bell rang. I walked back to my corner, and my coach could see it in my face. I just blew my whole wall. He goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I'm going to walk to the middle, and I'm just going to score. I'm just going to throw." You know, like.
And you almost did have him finish in the first round with that guillotine choke. That was a tight guillotine choke. A few more seconds, I would guess you would have either gone out or tapped out.
Yeah.
But I also want to ask, One Man Riot. How do you earn a nickname like One Man Riot?
My brother actually gave it to me. My older brother. You know, it's funny because when we lived in Oregon, I was about 6 years old, and his friends, they would have younger brothers, and he would pit me up against the other brother. You know what I mean? I'd be fighting at the park right across the street from our house. So, you know, and then when I started boxing at how old was I? About 14 years old, he gave me the name Kana, the One Man Riot High, and I just used it.
It's like there are nicknames that stand out for fighters. That is definitely one of the most unique ones I've heard of so far. Some people just, you know, they go by just like stuff that's like very generic or like the initials of their name, but like One Man, that one stands out. That sounds like a pro wrestling thing. That is an incredible that is an example of a great nickname to give somebody. So props to your brother for that. Let's talk about your fight with Rizin 16. Can you tell us about how did Rizin reach out to you and said, "Hey, we want you to fight Fullswing for our show in Kobe"? Or how did it come about?
Well, one of the matchmakers for Rizin he used to be the matchmaker for King of the Cage when I used to fight for them, Shingo.
Yeah.
And he hit me up a while ago to, you know, just let me know that I was on the roster and they're waiting. So I was out in Thailand doing my thing after I fought in Japan a couple of times, and I was just trying to make my way back. So I'll hit him up every once in a while. I'll be like, "Hey man, I just won this title, you know, won this fight. I want to get back out there." He just always told me, "Just Kana, I want to bring you out here. We're just waiting for the right time." So I, you know, just kept doing my thing, and he gave me the call telling me it's time. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." And shout out to Shingo for getting me this fight, and Rizin for just giving me the opportunity to go out there and just show my skills and show my heart, man. I'm ready to put it all out there.
So how are you getting prepared for your opponent? He's been around for quite a while. Mamoru Fullswing. He mostly fights in Shuto. Probably his greatest strengths are knocking out people, I would say. But so how do you prepare for a fight against someone like him?
Well, that's why I'm out here in California, training at the Bodyshop in Lakewood. under Antonio McKee, and he's just, running my camp for me. The tail end of it, I've been in Hawaii, trained at Roma's Jiu-Jitsu and HIBC boxing at Waikea Rec, and then, I got this fight, and I hit him up, and he just welcomed me with open arms to come over here. So just whatever he tells me to do, he's the Jedi Master to me. So I'm just, whatever he tells me to do, I do. You know what I mean? I don't question anything he says. I know he's going to get me prepared for this. So, just train hard, train smart, because I am older now. So that's why I'll just train smarter and listen to what he has to say, and I'll be ready.
Also, this fight's happening at around 135 pounds or 134, and I know that you do a lot of fights at flyweight. Is there any difference since this fight is at a different weight class than you usually fight at?
Nah. I'm walking around a little heavier now. I put on a little more weight, so it's better now that I fight at 61 kgs, because when I started fighting at 45. It's funny how you mentioned Eddie Ogden. I fought Eddie Ogden. That was like my fourth fight.
Mm-hmm.
At 145, and I was like maybe 136, 135 when I fought him on the X1. That's like my whole career, man. I just take any fight. I fight anybody. You know what I mean? How much you gonna pay me?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it kind of was growing up in Hawaii, because I grew up with no money. So yeah, fighting that flyweight is great. I would say it's kind of harder for me now to make that weight, 57 kgs or 56.7, because in Japan they don't give you no allowance. So it would be harder for me to make it. I would need more time. But 61 is perfect, because I'm walking around about 150 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I perform better when I cut less weight too, because I wasn't a wrestler. You know what I mean? I just started cutting on. I just learned how to cut weight on the fly. No one taught me. Just experimenting every time.
Mm-hmm. So have you seen any videos or any footage of your opponent? And if so, do you have any thoughts on him as a fighter?
Oh yeah, he brings it, man. He brings it, and I'm excited because I fight the same. I come out there. It's me or you. You know what I mean? My fights usually don't last that long, because I'm going in for the knockout. I'm not there to fight a 15-minute fight. I'm there to take you out. If we go 15 minutes, that's fine. But the whole time we're fighting, I'm going to be trying to take you out. So, he seems like he has that type of attitude too. It's going to be a war. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I can't wait to get out there and get in there.
You definitely know that's what the type of promotion Rizin is, and that's what the fans always want. They want that. They want those exciting fights. It may not be a finish, but they want to see two people who are going to bring it in a ring. Compared to other promotions where people will just wrestle for 15 minutes for 3 rounds, and people are falling asleep in the stands and while watching on their couches. So can you talk about what do you have any? Is this a one fight deal that you have, or do you have multiple fights with Rizin?
Well, this is just a one-off, but it is the doorway for more fights.
Mm-hmm.
Once you see what I got, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say, "Hey, let's bring him back." All my fights are exciting. I've been in Thailand. I've been living out in Southeast Asia, fighting in China and fighting all over Thailand. I trained full-time MMA with Team Quest Thailand, but I was fighting on all these big Muay Thai shows, fighting Muay Thai. My Muay Thai record right now is 11-5 with 10 knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
At one point I was at like a 80-90% finishing rate, and I was fighting MX Muay Thai also. It's one of the craziest games out in Bangkok. It's on TV. And you're fighting Muay Thai with MMA gloves.
No, it's interesting.
It is crazy. After this interview, I'll send you some of the videos. And I fought the champion, the first. What's funny is I wanted to fight on that so bad because it was so new. I have a bucket list. I did bare knuckles. I was like, I want to Muay Thai with Muay Thai gloves. So I hit them up, and they're like, if we can get you a fight, but you have to. It was the last fight of the year, and they're like, you have to represent the UK. I go, that's fine. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just want to fight. So they flew me in. I flew there in December. It was in December, and knocked the guy out in the first round, put my team up 3 points. And I was in this tournament for them, the 60 kg tournament. The first fight I had, fought the champ, knocked him out second round, semifinals, knocked that guy out in the second round, and I ended up losing in the finals to this Brazilian guy. Really slick Muay Thai. But yeah, just great experiences out there fighting, living the fight life, and just fight. I was out there 3.5 years, 27 fights. So I was scrapping. I would say maybe 7 of those or less were MMA fights. I was doing a lot of stand-up, K1, bare knuckle, whatever was paying.
So with that kickboxing background, is that something you might also be interested in doing also in Japan? Because there's a promotion called Rise, which is a kickboxing promotion. They're having a kickboxing tournament right now. Also, Rizin also has kickboxing fights. In fact, there's going to be 6 kickboxing fights on this show as well. So
Yeah.
if Rizin ever said, hey Kana, if you want to do a kickboxing fight, would you be down to do it? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, of course. In fact, that's one of the reasons why they hit me up, because I won, when I was out in Thailand, I won 2 WMC titles for I-1 in Hong Kong, Muay Thai titles. And so that's why I was on the roster. I thought they were going to call me for the kickboxing, I would love to. I fight everything. I have a multi-style fighter. I fight MMA, I fight Muay Thai, I fight kickboxing, I fight bare knuckle, anything. So, yeah, whatever.
So after this fight, you win this fight. You make it's an exciting fight. You knock him out or submit him. Or what if Rizin comes to you and says, "Hey, we would like to have you fight again." Is there anybody that you would like to fight in Rizin if the opportunity arises at another show?
Oh man, it's hard. You have so many good people. You know what? I'm at the age where it's money talks. Who I gotta fight for the most money?
Mm-hmm.
That's who I want. It don't matter who it is. I fight anybody. I got about 55 fights now, all together with everything, with my MMA, Muay Thai, K1, boxing, and bare knuckle. So, anything goes. I don't really like calling out people or whatever. If somebody got a problem, let's do it. Other than that, I try to keep it humble.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just gonna put some names out there in this weight class as well. I know that there's a fighter named Manel Cape, who's one of their top fighters. We got Kyoichi Horiguchi, who is their champion, a bantamweight champion. As well, there's two fighters who you fought before, but you lost against them, Hiromasa Ogikupo and Yusuke Nakamura, or actually Nakamura's fighting on the same card as well. Would you be interested in maybe getting a rematch with either of those two?
Oh yeah, you always want to avenge losses. You know what I mean? I don't chase them, but if the opportunity arises, of course I'll fight them. But I'm in this to be the champ.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to say, if they want me to fight again, they say, hey, you want to fight Kyoji? Of course, no doubt. Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? The opportunity arises, that's who I want to fight. Hey, why would I waste my time with everybody else? If you're in this game, you want to fight the champ. You want to be the champ. You want to fight the best to be the best, right? So, yeah, anything.
Also, and since you brought up kickboxing, as you know, on their roster is probably right now maybe the best kickboxer in the world, or at least top 3, Tenshin.
Yeah, Tenshin.
Yep.
Oh, of course.
And if they said, hey, for our next show, at Saitama, we want you to do a kickboxing match with him.
Yeah.
You sign it?
Hey, we'll do kickboxing, but hey, can we do it with MMA gloves on?
I don't know if they would count out to that, but that'd be interesting to see.
Right?
That would be interesting to see. Because I know that all their kickboxing matches they've done with 4-ounce gloves at this point, with the exception of the Mayweather match, which was I think it was like 20-pound gloves or something that they were wearing. I have no idea. Kana, I do appreciate you doing this interview. I just want to give you an opportunity in case if Mamoru Fullswing ever listens to this audio, say whatever you want to him or about him. I want to give you, feel free to, the floor is yours to say whatever you want about him.
Okay. Hey, Fullswing, it's One Man Riot, just coming out to Japan. Let's get this, let's go to war, baby. I'm just ready. Hope you're ready. See you when I get there.
And also, I want to give you an opportunity to plug your sponsors, your team, your social media, and anybody or anything else you want to give a shout out to.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to Team Bodyshop bringing me on for this camp. You know, Roma Jiu-Jitsu on the Big Island, letting me roll there. You know, HIBC boxing. You know, just I don't have too many sponsors. You know, I mean, if this is a lifestyle for me, so you know, if you're on board, you're on board. If not, all good, man. Everybody live their life. One love. Other than that, all good.
Kana Hyatt, Kana, the One Man Riot Hyatt, will be fighting Mamoru, Fullswing, Yui at Rizin 16 in Kobe, June 2nd. You can watch the fight on Fight TV through their app or their website. And Kana, I do appreciate you doing this interview once again. And, you know, I hope you have a very successful fight. And we definitely would love to talk to you again for any of your future Rizin fights.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You have a great day now.
You too. Bye.
Bye.